Hello, this is Leah Whitehorse from Astrology with the Cosmic Forecast for July 2014. So for the past 3 weeks we have been under a Mercury retrograde, but all this is due to change on the 1st of July when Mercury stations direct. So as Mercury stations direct, then we too have a feeling that we can now start moving forwards. But it's wise to be like Mercury and move slowly until Mercury is out of the shadow zone, which will be on the 16th of July. This month we've got quite a change in atmosphere as we've got Jupiter moving into Leo and Mars moving into Scorpio. So there's a feisty energy at work here, and we've also got the Sun moving into Leo, so it's creative and it's a fiery time. Saturn will also station direct on the 20th of July, and that's exactly the same day as Mars will finally exit the shadow zone from his last retrograde period. So there's a feeling that there's a lot of tension that is being released around this time. Uranus, however, just to be different, will be stationing retrograde on the 22nd of July. Now, Uranus is about independence, awakening, changes, sometimes shocks. He's a bit of a cranky rebel at times as well. So in retrograde motion, these attributes are all internalized. The retrograde period is excellent for asking why. Question what's going on in your life and where you're at. Uranus will help you gain a new perspective on what's happening, on your worries, on your concerns. With Uranus in backward motion, it promotes making changes on an inner level so that you can then make changes on an outer level. And if you have any feelings that you've been held back, it's time to get in touch with what's been limiting you, because Uranus retrograde can help you break through any self-imposed boundaries. Now, one of the most interesting configurations we have this month is a gathering with Mars, Vesta and Ceres, all with the North Node in Libra. Mars has had an extended stay in Libra due to this retrograde action, and for many of us it was a particularly challenging time. As Mars prepares to leave this sign and move into Scorpio, the conjunction to the North Node seems to be a call from the universe to ask, what have you learned in the last 8 months? Mars connections to the North Node can have quite a strong effect, and I was reading Celeste Teal's book the other day, and she actually says that Mars and the nodes can act like an eclipse effect, and I'm noticing that this gathering around the North Node with Mars, Vesta and Ceres is actually going to be right beside the lunar eclipse degree point that we had back in April. Mars has struggled in Libra, and maybe so have we in turn. We've had to face anger and learn to own it instead of projecting it. We've maybe had to compromise, be patient, be diplomatic. So it's been a period where you've been asked to look at how you relate and whether what you've been putting your efforts into is actually worth it. Now, with this gathering of planets around the North Node, it's like the universe is asking you, do you know what you want now? With Ceres, the goddess of the grain, it's about figuring out how can you sustain your motivation. With the devotion of Vesta, this is the time to recommit yourself to the path. To achieve what you want to achieve takes effort, courage and dedication. This must be balanced with a willingness to work with others. What we strive for needs to harmonize with our environment and with the world in general. In the midst of this collection of planets around the North Node, we also have a full moon in Capricorn on the 12th of July. The problem with this full moon is that it's going to be square to this gathering of planets around the North Node. Capricorn is hardworking, dutiful and committed, but with this square to Mars, there may be a tendency for some to try to bulldoze their way ahead. The other side to this is that you may feel like you're working really hard and not seeing the results. The moon is widely conjunct Pluto, which intensifies these feelings, but at the same time gives you a tenacious edge to keep going. The full moon is also widely opposite to Jupiter, so it does feel a little bit like a carrot on a stick. Maybe you feel like the universe is waving these wonderful things in your face, but every time you move towards it, it moves away. Bear in mind that the full moon is also square to Uranus, so maybe you're feeling a bit rebellious. Maybe you feel like the rules or the established ways of doing things are holding you back. Try to avoid knee-jerk reactions. Maybe the trick with this full moon is to rein in your long-term vision. Rather than looking too far ahead, we've got a sextile to Saturn, and that says simply concentrate on where you are now. This will give you the staying power that you need and also teach you to use your energy wisely. Jupiter enters Leo on the 16th of July, and this transit has a really lovely happy-go-lucky feel about it. Jupiter is jovial, big, expansive. In your natal chart, he's where you feel blessed and where opportunities lie. He's in this fiery, childlike sign of Leo. Jupiter is wonderfully creative. This is a time to get in touch with your inner child. Be bold, take a risk. Also, exercise some caution though, because Jupiter in Leo can sometimes get a little bit overexcited. Jupiter in Leo is big-hearted and confident, and also has the ability to inspire confidence in others. Because Leo is dramatic, this larger-than-life force is encouraging you to let yourself shine. It's important to give yourself time to play, let your hair down and just be yourself. Don't forget to laugh. Laughter is good for the heart. Remember to stay true to who you are. Jupiter in Leo can be inclined to exaggerate, to put on airs and graces for the benefits of others, and it can take things to excess. It's enough just to be yourself. If you have any planets or points in Leo, Sagittarius or Aries, Jupiter will be giving you some fabulous fiery energy to play with. Even if you don't have any personal planets in fire signs, look to the house where Jupiter is traveling now to give you some clues about what opportunities are available to you at the moment. Jupiter asks you to expand your knowledge in this area, and also asks you to have faith in yourself so that you can take advantage of the opportunities that are being presented to you. If you're Leo rising, like I am, Jupiter will soon move from your 12th house to your 1st house, which puts you in the spotlight. It's time to get your costume ready. Life isn't a dress rehearsal. This is the main act. The rest of the month's action is also for the very end of the month, when we have Mars entering Scorpio on the 26th of July, and we also have a new moon in Leo on the same date as well. Mars is the co-ruler of Scorpio, so he is happy in this sign, and perhaps a better word will be formidable. Mars is formidable in Scorpio. It has a relentless feel about it. Driven by a powerful emotional undertow, Mars in Scorpio does what it needs to do with absolute focus and self-discipline. During the next couple of months, it is going to be important to get in touch with your true motivation. What forces are driving you at the moment? What do you feel underneath everything? Is it love? Is it passion, resentment, anger, hate? Where and how do you use your force? This is also a time to get in touch with your sexuality as well and explore your desires. Mars in Scorpio can get a little possessive. He doesn't like to share in this sign. So one of the cautions of this transit is to watch for jealous reactions. And remember that jealousy, just as a reminder to let you know what you feel is missing in your life. You can't control what other people do, but you can control where you're at. Mars in Scorpio has the power to go for what it wants, so use your energy wisely. This is a time to explore your innermost feelings and to get to grips with what's bugging you. Mars tends to stir up stuff that's been repressed, so let it come up. Let yourself feel it. Be brave. If you've been engaged in an endless battle with someone else, now might be the time to initiate a ceasefire and then don't look back. In many ways, Mars thrives on crisis when he's in Scorpio, so you may find that you are far more capable than you thought you were. Don't be afraid to make a start. Mars in Scorpio will give you the focus, energy and drive to persevere and see things through to the end. If nothing else, Mars in Scorpio helps you to wipe the slate clean and releases energy to be put to more productive use. The new moon in Leo contains this powerful Martian energy, this Mars ingress into Scorpio. And just like the full moon, this new moon is going to be square to Mars. So we do have a bit of a theme going on here. This new moon is also going to be conjunct to Jupiter as well. And with all three, the Sun, the Moon and Jupiter all squaring up to Mars, it could trigger some tantrums and melodrama. There can be a tendency to put on a show, to stamp your feet to get attention. Used at its best, however, these same aspects could give you exactly what you need to make the right impression. It all depends on how you use them. The clue is in the sign Leo. It's all about acting from the heart. Be enthusiastic, encouraging, joyful, open. Set ego issues aside and focus on what you're creating in your life. Be proud of what you do. Don't let success go to your head. There's always room for improvement. Be open to receiving advice and encouragement from others. If you're not getting the support you need in life, then just become your own biggest fan. Cheer yourself along instead of getting frustrated with what you don't have. This new moon is also conjunct asteroid Amor. Love yourself. So this month, the deck that I chose was a Rider-Waite deck, and the card that came out was the Knight of Wands. And I thought this was really interesting and really spot on for all this fiery action of Jupiter in Leo, and the new moon in Leo, and the Sun entering Leo, and also Mars in Scorpio as well, because this guy pretty much looks like he wraps up all of this fiery energy that's going on. In the card, the horse is a very reddish colour, and he's rearing up, he's fighting for the bit, and there's this fabulous sense of movement with this card. The Knight of Wands is impatient. He wants to get going, and he's all action. So often this card can actually come up for a sudden passionate encounter as well. The colours on this card they emulate the fire, the flickering flames of a fire. It's all oranges and reds and yellows, and also these colours they connect to the lower chakras in the body. So red for the base chakra, orange for the sacral or sexual chakra, and yellow for the solar plexus. So it's also all about confidence, and it's all about your passions and getting in touch with your passions. The Knight of Wands doesn't hesitate. There is a really impulsive side to him, so it is wise to watch for that. But that said, the Knight of Wands really does give you the get up and go to get up and go. This month, you're probably going to feel impatient for the off and driven by your passions. Maybe you're wild about an idea that you've had or someone that you've met. Sometimes you have to throw caution to the wind and just see where the road takes you.
All hail to the Queen of Stars.